Graham, look, I'd like to echo that the issue around the counselling. 9 months is crazy. It's not sufficient. 9 months when you're in desperation, suicidal, reoccurring anxiety and thoughts, feeling threatened, maybe internalised, not necessarily external. 9 months is an unsatisfactory wait. We have a scandalous arrangement where people are waiting anyway in the HSC. I spoke to a man a few weeks ago that was abused within this state, has reported to the authorities, is well known, is also initiating legal proceedings through the courts, and he cannot get services. I've made representations to various ministerial government departments here. I meet this man on a weekly basis in Dunleary. He is desperate, he is anxious, he is vulnerable, he has had clearly experience of living in an institution, and he can't access supports. Due to the kindness of some neighbour, they pay for some limited private counselling services. So it's all unsatisfactory. Minister, I don't need to spell that out to you. You would be aware of it. And therefore, we need to look at there will be needs for counselling, and having spoken and known many people who are involved and will be involved on the route of this legislation when it's enacted, and hopefully it will be enacted. It wasn't everything that any one of us wanted, but it's progress, and I'm going to acknowledge that. I think it's important that we now start preparing, and your department starts preparing, and the health services start preparing for counselling services. They are critical, and in many cases they're the difference between life and death for people. That's the reality of it. And there are many people that are constantly in and out of our psychiatric services because of their trauma and experiences and vulnerabilities. So I want to thank Sandra Higgins for raising it, but I think it's a marker for us all that we need now to look at counselling services. And there will be counselling services. And there are people that will go on for many years without any form of anxiety or concern, but then suddenly issues arrive, and then these things all come back up. And you know, issues around these matters don't just go away while they may go into abeyance for a while. So I'd just like to flag genuinely, I think we need to look at counselling supports. And I think initially as this legislation is enacted, there will be there'll be a higher focus anyway in terms of publicity, and the usual old radio stations will interview it, and we'll have the same people out talking about their experiences and how they were forgotten and how they were lost, and all the stories that go with it, and all genuine stories. But the point about it is there will be a surge again, as every time there is with issues like this, and therefore I think we need to be ready, and we may need just to be short-term ready in terms of confidential phone line services and things like that, which in turn could be initial sort of reception for people, but at least we'd have them, we'd be aware of them, and then we could at some future date give them a referral. But I think it's important because genuinely I do believe it'll open up a lot of issues for a lot of people.